This is Flair from Gaming Embers, part of Aunt Beru's Dark Side, and you're listening to the Escape Pod cast, recorded live in front of a studio audience. And you know what? It's good to be back. Enjoy the show.
One is a Grand Arena specialist from the UK. The other is a territory battle tactician from the US. Together, there are no signs of intelligent life on board. With both having played this game since launch, the one thing we are sure of is that you will be entertained. The Escape Pod Cast, a service of the Escape Pod Castaways. A weekly podcast about the mobile game Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Live from the network studios of Yavin 4, here are your hosts, Neil Andrew Eyre and Paul Anthony.
Coming up on this week's edition of the Escape Podcast.
It's here, ladies and gentlemen. It's here.
What's here?
Oh, come on. Were you born under a rock? It's the road ahead.
Okay, so I'm trying to pretend it didn't happen because, Neil, I'm going to read it, possibly along with you, for the first time live tonight.
Well, I would advise you to check out the video because the road ahead now has a new format.
Okay, well, I guess I'll take a look at the video. Is the video going to spoil anything? Is it going to spoil everything?
I have not watched it myself. I'm looking forward to perhaps maybe watching it live during the show.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll give, I guess, live reaction. I don't even know how long this is, but we're going to do this. We're absolute, for the first time, guys, we're going to cover the road ahead as we've done before for the first, reading it for the first time tonight.
Well, we're going to be watching it.
Okay, all right, fine. Now, we do have MrBeauJangles coming up as our guest this week.
Oh, I wonder what we're going to talk about.
What do you mean what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about his account and talk about him. What else will we talk about?
Well, we can throw some GAC action in there since we do cover him on GA Center.
Well, here's some fun information. I made Erodium before the end of week 3 today.
Well, we're going to have to talk about that as well.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. And of course, a re-airing of last week's brand new Hellion the Noob and Patreon's Choice on the Bridge.
All this and breaking news as and if it happens.
Right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast News.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the episode. It's the Escape Podcast. I'm your host, the Nev, and as always, I'm joined by my hetero life partner, Paul. Paul, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm finally in HD, Neil.
Yes,
For
yes,
those
we're
watching.
both. Yeah, we're both in HD now. Yeah, definitely. 1080p.
And no more Force Ghost me. The camera looks great.
Yeah, the camera's great.
Do we have a audio issue?
No.
Paul and Silent Nev. Oh, I get it now. You're funny, Bones. Oh man, I fell for that. So Neil, this has been a very, very interesting day. Everybody's freaking out, and I don't know why.
Yeah, so let's get it watched, and then let's get the thing read. Because people want
so pull down, get that down.
Get the monitor down. The monitor is down.
Okay. So we are going to watch this for the first time live with you. So if you want to say anything, Neil, tell me to pause. Otherwise, I'll pause if I need to say something. Okay?
Yeah, I'm not going to want to pause it. I'm going to save everything until I finish watching it, just like when I'm watching an episode.
Okay, well, I'll pause when I've got something to say.
Okay.
So. Let's get to it. A video road ahead, July 2021.
Hello there, Holotable Heroes. Crumb here along with Doja Fett from Capital Games, and this month we're experimenting with our usual Road Ahead format. We have many exciting things to show you today, and we'll share some very important changes coming to characters in the future. We'd love to hear your feedback on this new format, and let us know if you want to see more videos.
I want Crumb's background
on upcoming units,
so we can
features,
use that.
dates, and it goes without saying that these details and times are subject to change as we get closer to release.
Subject to change,
First,
Neil.
Let's dive into some exciting new units that are coming to Galaxy Heroes, and here's your community manager, Doja Fett, to tell you more.
Hey everybody, how's this going?
Wait a minute, when did Urza get a job at CG?
Share with you 3 brand spanking new units coming to Galaxy of Heroes. One of them is a new capital ship with Admiral Piet at the helm. The massive Executor is coming to.
It is the Superstar Destroyer.
Okay.
Oh, get in there.
Okay, so we get a new capital ship with Piet as the at the helm. I'm okay. Let's get into it.
To the game and a new Journey Guide Fleet Mastery event. Is that what we're calling it? All right, cool.
Journey Guide
While it's
Fleet
an
Mastery.
Imperial capital ship that can work well with an Empire fleet. There's a certain faction that has needed a capital ship for a while now. You've been asking for it. Here we go. Bounty Hunters are getting a new capital ship of their own.
It's going to be a Bounty Hunter one?
Because we all know that Admiral Piet is delighted to lead a fleet of bounty hunters.
Bounty hunters? We don't need that scum.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'll work that out. Executor focuses on providing the bounty hunters with a capital ship that synergizes with Breach and helps bounty hunters take out their target. We'll have more details to share closer to release, but I'll tell you this much, the Executor's ultimate ability, it's gonna blow you away. Maul is back, baby. Turns out Maul didn't die when a young Kenobi decided to divide him in two.
Robo Legs Maul
represents his journey during Season 7 in the Clone Wars, robot legs and all. I hope those are under warranty, Maul. Maul is one of my favorite characters, and we really wanted to do him justice. His kit and animations pay homage to one of Maul's best moments on screen, his incredible duel with Ahsoka Tano on Mandalore. It's probably one of the most visually stunning lightsaber duels of the entire series, and let's face it, that whole series is packed full of them, so chef's kiss for that one. Just called Maul now. He's lost the title of Darth. Somebody got demoted. And also thus loses the Sith tag in-game. Season 7 Maul
Okay,
is out for
Doja,
revenge,
don't need to do
and
so
he has
much
a new status
joking
effect called
commentary,
Anguish,
but we love
which
you.
deals himself damage while boosting his offense and enabling extra abilities and effects. There's one thing Maul hates more than anything else, Kenobi. He is one of the few character kits to have a direct call out to specific enemy units, and Maul gets extra stacks of Anguish whenever he faces any of the Kenobis in our game.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Kenobi!
I like that a lot.
He's also an unaligned Force user and will strengthen a number of dark side teams. But the real surprise here is that he has a certain tag. What is it? It's Mandalorian. That's right. While he's not a Mandalorian by birth, his kit pays tribute to his time as the leader of Mandalore. So when Maul is in the leader slot,
like
he has the
that
Mandalore
too.
status effect until he is defeated, and then passes the mantle on to the character that defeated him. Aw, souvenir. Maul will be available in an
That's
upcoming
kinda
conquest,
cool.
and you'll get your first look at his endgame abilities when? Soon. TM.
Oh, screw
That's
that.
the character we're on to today, but before that, I want to make sure you know about the expansion happening to Relics in general. Relic 9 is coming, and along with some other character changes that we're about to talk about, Relic 9 is going to be very valuable for tanks and characters that rely on survivability. We're currently looking to launch Relic 9 around the end of August, and stay tuned to the forums for more information how you're going to acquire that and when it's all coming out.
We knew
One
that
more
was going to
exciting
happen.
news to share with you today, Lord Vader. I'm sure
Yes.
you know
Oh,
it's expected to be
come
no surprise
on!
that Galactic Legend and the dark side counterpart to Jedi Master Kenobi is none other than Galactic Legend Lord Vader. Lord Vader is a unit that represents Anakin right after he falls to the dark side. His kit taps into that unbridled rage he shows off during the end of Revenge of the Sith. Lord Vader's kit has 2 new
Yeah,
status
for
effects,
23
Ashes
minutes.
of the Republic, which gives Lord Vader's abilities additional effects, and Underestimated, which stacks up over time to empower him with even more additional effects. Similar to how Commander Ahsoka Tano works great under Jedi Master Kenobi lead, the new Maul from Conquest will bring up Lord Vader's squad to the next level. And you can find the first
I
requirements
don't want
on
to
the
see
forums right now, as a
Maul
matter of
Lord
fact.
Vader
And there's a sneak peek at the third set
synergy.
of
There is no
requirements. More on
synergy.
why that's the case in just a moment, though. The first set is will in-game on
Tusken
July
Raider
28th.
Relic 5.
We've got the second set coming out on August 11th, and the final group will be
Wait, I gotta
available
pause and
on
rewind.
August
Let's
25th.
look at that.
So
No,
we're
when
gonna
we
join
go
the
over the
politics in
text,
early
we'll see it in the
September,
text.
So get ready to crush the Republic and join the
Okay, fine.
dark side with an exciting new Galactic Legend unit. An important announcement we have for today is around upcoming character changes. I'm sure you know that it's extremely rare for us to go back and change a character if we don't have to. So when we do, we really don't want to take this lightly. This is a big undertaking for us, and it's really necessary for the long-term health of the game. So the main change we're talking about today is that we're removing the ability to ignore defense from several characters, while we're going to add or maintain their utility in other areas of the game. So these units pose a significant balance concern for Galaxy heroes, and as the game grows, that concern continues to get amplified. It's diminishing our ability to use defense in the future as an interesting and valuable stat, and restricts our design space when our team is working with new characters and events and wants to do something awesome. These changes are going to allow tanks and future units to use defense in new ways and not be one shot off the board. Like right now, defense is trivialized by the number of units that have a high amount of defense penetration or just completely ignore defense entirely. We're providing most of these units with some additions to their kit to offset the parts that were removed and returning some of the resources you used.
This is getting worrisome.
If you've got a Darth Vader, a General Skywalker, a Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, and/or a Wat Tambor at Relic 8, we're going to return those units to you at Relic 7, and the resources you spent upgrading them will be sent to your inbox. The details of what's getting added or removed are available right now on the forums. You can go check those out and read those. But these are not going to go into effect for about another month. This is to give you some time to make an informed decision on whether you want to re-relic those characters or use those resources somewhere else, depending on how you feel about those changes. And in the spirit of that, it should come as no shock to anyone that General Skywalker is going to be needed to unlock Lord Vader. So keep that in mind, and if you're going for the new Galactic Legend Lord Vader, General Skywalker is going to be required at Relic 8. It's also why we're announcing him as a requirement today, even though he's in the third group of requirements. So I'm sure the big question a lot of people have is, why are we doing this now? Well, this has been a problem when we've been designing characters and events for quite some time, and it's only getting worse. We could, absolutely keep kicking this can down the road, but right now there's a narrow amount of design space for designing characters that are below Galactic Legends.
I'm kind of understanding
Everything we do
here
has to account for this immense defense penetration, and I think Sith Eternal Emperor is a really good example of this. He had to have several specific balance changes just to account for General Skywalker. This expands his kit to have a bunch of caveats and make sure that something as powerful as Galactic Legend isn't trivialized by older kits. But we really need to serve two goals simultaneously. On one hand, we need to change some aspects of these characters for the long-term health of the game, not only for the additional design space, but also for the characters that are already dealing excessive damage in certain scenarios right now. On the other hand, these characters are really important characters, and a lot of players have them highly upgraded and really use them for their utility against Galactic Legends. So the core of the issue becomes, how do we maintain their identity, but also maintain much of their effectiveness?
I am going to stop there for a second, Neil, because let's discuss this. These characters are highly upgraded and are used because of their utility against Galactic Legends. Most of the time, it's Wat's ability to go first and to, put out the shield on JML or the weapons tech on Slacker. Am I right? Am I wrong, or am I right on that?
What's irrelevant?
So why is it so interesting that they're singling?
Because they are nerfing. They're nerfing the free-to-play characters. The ones that you do not have. These Anakin, Vader. Thanks for the sub. Anakin, Vader. Just Gas and Vader are really, really necessary in off-meta counters for GLs. If they get nerfed, you're going to need a GL to counter. It's needing GLs to counter GLs.
So that's essentially going to send an FU to anybody that has less GLs than their opponent in Grand Arena Championships. So
this is
if
gonna
I
totally, this is really, this is going to make. This is going to destroy a certain to a certain degree the competitive. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, yeah, defense is needed. You need defense, but defense penetration isn't really something you worry about on your free to play squads. But
it is worrying me. Let's go ahead and push play. We still got a little bit. We still got about 6 minutes to go here.
Yeah, I mean, I get.
You always want to preserve a unit's.
No. I was just going to say, I get GLs. GLs should be stronger, even than off-meta counters. That off-meta counter that you spent, weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks in order to beat a GL, should require being really, really strong. You shouldn't be able to take out a GL with weak off-meta counters. I think your off-meta counters should still be like Relic 7, Relic 7, Relic 7, Relic 7, Relic 5, high relics in order to beat a GL. I don't think an off-meta counter should be able to just, march over a GL. Absolutely
well,
not.
I did. So in my 3-0 week last week in Grand Arena, by the way, Neil, you heard that right. I went 3-0 last week in Grand Arena.
Yeah, bravo. Well done.
I beat a rate or a JML team, Bastila lead, with gas. No, not with gas. It was with CLS. So
I think we're going to have to see. I mean, here's the thing. Play the tape. We'll talk about it at the end.
Okay.
When we go make changes, and the overall value of the character should stay the same for players, but it's partly subjective, and it's a really tricky piece for us. And the impact of these changes are going to vary widely based on where people are on their journey and how their rosters are right now. So we really have to ask ourselves, and the community, you guys, do we maintain these characters' effectiveness and at a similar power level in most other scenarios? Well, do we maintain their appropriate feel as a character in the Star Wars universe is super critical for us. So ultimately, we got to serve both of these areas, and we have to address, of course, the modernizing these units and also making sure that this is a valuable thing for players to still have part of their roster. In addition to these changes that I've just talked about here, we're going to be looking to bolster Galactic Legends' competitive viability with a few changes to sort of maintain our vision of Galactic Legends as the top of the meta, the big thing that everyone's shooting for, and it should be something that's, very powerful and very exciting to unlock. As we add more GLs, though, we want to shore up their spot at the top of that meta and treat them, more like raid bosses, which we've kind of done already, but we really want to solidify that position. So there's going to be several changes to kits that are going to have, Galactic Legend exceptions very similar to how they have raid boss exceptions.
Still doesn't feel right.
And one of the characters, though, that we really want to call out specifically is the Dark Trooper. A lot of people have upgraded and invested, resources in this character to counter Galactic Legends specifically. So this character, we're going to be returning them to you at Relic 5, and any resources used past then are also going to be sent to your inbox. And these are some big changes that we have to consider, really carefully how we launch them. So of course,
that's no. If they are specifically nerfing a character, if they are nerfing a character so bad that it can no longer do what you spent then they need to return it to 12. They need to return it to 12.
I kind of feel the same way because I went Relic 8 and spent crystals to get the impulse detectors to go to Relic 8. Am I going to be getting my crystals back or just those impulse detectors?
Yeah, no, and that's what I mean. What is it? Hang on a minute. Yeah, Dark is not nerfed. Only no, exactly, Jay. Yes, it's demote. But if a Relic 8 Dark Trooper cannot do after the nerf what it can do now, then I would argue that if they want to nerf the character, that's fine. But they need to reimburse the resources all the way back to Gear 12, because some people just relicked him because he was great against a GL. If at Relic 7 it's not going to do that, if at Relic then it's not going to, if it's not going to do the same job at Relic 8, then it's most certainly still not going to do the same job at Relic 5. So if I would reduce. Was Dark Trooper required for a GL at Relic 5 or anything?
I don't think so.
Huh. Well, we'll just have to. We'll just have to.
Yeah,
wait.
I don't think so.
I think if it is if the character that they are changing is no longer going to do what it has been relicked for, then just give everybody back all of the relic. Just take the character back to 12 and give everyone all their relics back, and then they can make an informed decision as to whether or not they want to, put it back up.
I'm going to throw this out there. I have talked about something that I would spend $100 on if it was offered. A one-time per account ever full respec. You get all your gear. All of your characters go back to gear 1 and you can restart. Your mods stay there, or they go to they go back to gear 1. Your mods stay there, but your gear, so you can focus your roster in a direction one time in the lifetime of your account. I would love to see the ability to respec my account one time just so I could build it right.
Yeah. No, I would say, yeah. I mean, they're definitely. I've got to disagree. Look, we see nerfs all the time. Characters get nerfed all the time. I'm not overly concerned because we have some great theory crafters in the game, so that they'll come up with something else. Okay, so the defense penetration's gone, or ignoring defense is gone. A lot of these characters at a high relic level, if you've got them, if you've got enough offense on them, will still smack for a couple of 100k. So, that couple of 100k, maybe it doesn't wipe someone out like you hoped it would wipe them out. 200k, even if it's got to get through defense, is still going to cause a lot of damage. But I still think that they should be giving a full refund on relics, on characters that they're changing. They've done it before. They've done it with gear before. When they changed Finn, they gave everybody back. When they changed Finn, they gave everybody back their materials. They have done it before. I just think it's kind of cheap to say, we're doing this to them, we're changing the character, but we're only going to refund you to Relic 5. It's like, well, then I don't want it. If it's not going to do what I want it to do, then give me a full refund. So, yeah. Anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah. Now, Thisk says if they did allow the option to buy your gear back, it would still take requirements down to their minimum. If you have Ray, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. No. If the character was a requirement, if there was a relic, like for example, say there was a Relic 3 requirement for a GL that you own, then yeah, it only goes back to what that requirement was for the Galactic Legend, or for a Legendary, or for an Epic Conference. The minimum requirements for whatever that character was for an event. Yeah, that would be the
I can agree to that. But just everybody else that has not been a requirement for something that you own, then yeah. All right, we still got a few minutes in this, and we do have a commercial break we need to get to. But let's go ahead and finish this out. We'll try to keep commentary to a minimum, but if there's something, I'm gonna say something.
Last resort for us, but in this case, it really opens up the design space for new characters, reduces the number of specific workarounds we have in kits, and creates a much more healthy meta long term. Inflating the size of the kits isn't fun for you to read or understand, or for our designers to create. And it really sucks when a good idea gets left on the table because of these mechanics. We really want to create a cool and exciting characters for you to play with, and this helps us keep doing that and keep the game healthy for years to come. Again,
years to come. I like that. I like that.
But they're not going to be going into effect about a month's time, so you can think about them and decide how you want to use those resources. But we want to let you know in advance this is what's going to be happening, and so you can make a smart, informed decision with your resource.
Conquest 7 has some big changes coming and a thoroughly
Here we go.
overhauled experience. Conquest 7 will have new bosses and boss modifiers, all themed around the upcoming release of Maul. So I guess you could say it's an over-mauled experience.
Oh, gee, told ya!
The new Maul will be available as a reward for this event, and the next 3 conquests will be all about Maul. All about Maul, 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 Maul. There will also be many new data discs and consumables to keep mixing up the formula. There are some very powerful data discs like Defensive Formation that causes an ally to recover protection whenever they attack out of turn.
Can we call those Doge
or
jokes?
Steadfast Focus, which makes allies immune to ability block, daze, and stun for a couple turns at the start of battle. Maybe you have one of the many debuff focus teams, or you just care a lot about thermal detonators. Then you might want to look out for Thermal Exhaust, which is whenever an enemy gains 5 debuffs, they also gain a stack of Thermal Detonator. Oh no! There are also many new consumables, some of which are tailored to specific factions or provide new mechanics. Turn the tally tables on the enemy squads with a consumable for your Galactic Republic team that reflects damage. It's just like the pesky enemy modifier that you've been like, but now the power is yours and do with it what you
Okay, I'll take that.
Conquest 7 has changed up the cost for swapping data discs as well. So we're going from Conquest Currency to Conquest Energy. With the release of exclusive characters for Conquest Currency, it made swapping out data discs too costly a proposition for the players that are trying to get Ahsoka or Maul. We're going to be switching things up a little bit. Conquest 7 will not be launching right after Conquest 6. There will be a slight delay as we need additional time to rebalance and refresh the entire experience. So we're planning to condense the time between the next several conquests, however, and our goal is to still run 3 conquest events over the next 3-ish months. You'll be able to earn the same amount of rewards over this period of time and obtain Maul like you would have without the short delay. We hope Conquest 7 is one of the most exciting and challenging conquests yet. Check out the forum thread for a preview of some of the new data discs.
Okay, I got to go back a little bit. Look at the early. This was early conquest. Yeah. I just want to point out earning 8 of 10 of the cards instead of 3 of the cards.
Yeah.
Unless it's new how they're going to do it.
3 conquest events over the next 3-ish months. You'll be able to earn the same amount of rewards over this period of time and obtain Maul like you would have without the short delay. We hope Conquest 7 is one of the most exciting and challenging conquests yet. Check out the forum thread for a preview of some of the new data discs, consumables, and boss modifiers you are likely to see in Conquest 7. A quick reminder that these are still being balanced and may change before the final release. Coming soon to a screen near you, I'm so excited. Community members take on the Galaxy of Heroes developers along with Crumb and myself in a special Grand Arena event that we are calling...
Yes! Get in there! That I like!
Okay,
kick your ass, Doja!
This fall, we take some of your favorite community members and pit them against the people who bring you Galaxy of Heroes in a unique and extremely fast version of Grand Arena Championship. Contestants will need to battle through each Grand Arena sector and know which matchups are going to make for the fastest wins or slowest defenses. So we're going to bring our A game, and I'm sure the community members will as well, so stay tuned for more information on when and where you can find this epic confrontation.
Yes!
One final reminder that the details in Road Ahead are all subject to change. These events and characters are still in development, and there may be some final tweaks before we get to launch.
Thank you for watching Galaxy of Heroes July 2021 Road Ahead. There's a ton of new units and changes coming to the game soon, TM, and we hope you are excited as we are.
We'll have more to share as we get closer to each release, but for now, we really hope you enjoyed the Road Ahead format experiment. We'd love to hear your feedback on this. If you liked it, if you didn't, please let us know in the official forums or any place you chat with us.
Yeah, let us know what you think. From everyone here at Capital Games, see you on the holotables.
Crumb's in the same division as me, so that's doable.
Okay.
Okay, I like that.
Can
that last bit, it's like, here, we're going to give you some bad news, but we're going to give you some fun news right at the end. And it's like, no, I'm not going to forget all of the nasty stuff that I've just seen. But it was softening. That what they did right at the end there was soften the blow.
They did.
They did was, it's still a big blow, but they softened it ever so slightly at the end there.
Let's take a quick break. We will be back as soon as we can after this. We'll talk about all of this and read anything that was not mentioned in the video that was put into the post after these messages right here on the Escape Podcast.
The Escape Pod Cast with Paul Anthony and Neil Andrew Ware.
HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with additional features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or Territory Wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including access to Shitty Bill's Arena Tracking Bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
Hello friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I approve this message, and am compensated for signups for this service.
The world's largest audiobook library is at your fingertips, and the Escape Pod Castaways wants you to try it for free. Head on over to escapepodcastaways.com and click the Going Nerdy offer button to claim a free audiobook and 2 Audible originals. Cancel anytime, and it's absolutely free to sign up. Check out Audible and support the Escape Pod Castaways, all for free. See Audible website for details. Restrictions may apply. Welcome into the Patreon leaderboard, made possible by the Patreons of the Escape Pod cast. Would you like to be on GA Center along with our other great Patreons at the Kyber Combatant level or higher? Sign up there. And at patreon.com/theescapepodcast and join these wonderful people. Whether you're watching this on GA Center or during the podcast itself, we welcome you to the show. This is a Patreon version of what Neil and Ranger do every week for some of the very, very best streamers on GA Center, hosted right here on the Escape Podcast. If you're not a streamer but would like to join, go ahead and sign up. Let's get to it right here. We've got Big Country Mags, who goes 2-0, 60-60 in banners. That's pretty cool. 26 wins, 4 losses, 10 holds. D goes 1-2, 44-16, 13 wins for the week, 1 loss, 4 holds. Looks like they might have given up halfway through. Dark Helmet 2-1 with the most banners, I believe. I do believe so. Taking a look over here over my shoulder. Yes. So the most banners for this week goes to Dark Helmet, 7,940. 36 wins, 5 losses, 5 holds. Dr. JoJo, the king of the holotables currently, 3-0, at least in the Patreon. 7,157 in banners, 32 wins, 3 losses, 12 holds. Force Strong goes 2-1, 6,032, with 26 up, 3 down, and holding tight. Hot Sauce, who, by the way, you might know him. He's the author of Hotbots, or of Hotbot. He's not a streamer, but he is Patreon, so he can be on the board. 2-1, 76-17, 35 wins, 15 losses, and 14 impressive holds. Narman, he goes 1-2, 3,763 with 9 wins, 0 losses, 2 holds. Looks like he didn't do much during the week. We'll see him next week. Now, I no longer actively stream, so I'm on the leaderboard here for you guys can fight against me. And believe it or not, for the first time ever in my GAC history that I can remember, I've gone 3-0. 7,888 banners, 36 wins, 2 losses, 5 holds. 3-0, all full clears. Ladies and gentlemen, I got myself a triple whammy as well. Whee! All right, looking at the Patreon board, Dr. JoJo currently in the lead by just over 400 banners over me. Dark Helmet, Hot Sauce, and BCM, and Schnarman all coming in at 4 and 2. 4 strong at the Mendoza line of 3 and 3, and D at 1 and 5. It's halfway through the season. We will see how all of this shakes out. Stay tuned to find out if maybe I'll hit Kyber for the first time ever. It'll be fun to see. Guys, stick around. More coming up after this. Whether or not you're watching GA Center or the Escape Podcast, nice to each other, damn it.
We want you. Join the GAC Chain Gang today. This is the commander of the 506 Procrastination Battalion and the leader of the GAC Chain Gang. I am sending out a call to action for any SWGOH content creators on Twitch who would be willing to broadcast their GAC attack rounds alongside some of our best, including Mr. Jigabachi, Dr. Zeppers, Rico 1982, and the Bounty Honeys. What is the Chain Gang, you ask? We are an amazing group of content creators who are dedicated on streaming the Grand Arena Championship attack rounds on Twitch. The idea is to provide continuous content back-to-back from one streamer to the next and allow the viewers to enjoy more SWGOH content as well as enjoy the variety of streamers that are currently present in the group. If you are interested in joining the Chain Gang, please reach out to myself on Discord at AndyBeads, #7465, or you can send us a message on our Twitter page at ChainGAC. Join us today. We have your back.
The Escape Pod Cast.
Welcome back, everybody. So, interesting. Very, very interesting. Just reading over the text, Paul, of some of the changes to the characters.
I haven't gotten to that yet. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's interesting.
Okay. So, let's see. Doja Fat and myself present important announcements in video form. We talked about that. Thank you very much for following Rampant Rabbit. Also, Interceptor 33, Shea Locomotive. We want to thank you guys for following. Before we get too far into this, thank you, by the way, to Thisk for the raid, Geek Girl, Dr. Feelgood, and Ray Rock, all for subscriptions or gifting subscriptions in the channel. We strongly appreciate all the support. And we can't do, we can do it without support, but it helps with support from the listeners. Thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. All right. Requirements to be able to get Executor. To get the ship. Yeah. Vader at 7. Piet at 8. Mm-hmm. Boba at 8. Ooh. TIE Fighter Pilot at Relic 5. That kind of hurts. Bosk at 5. IG-88 at 5. Dengar at 5. What? Okay, hold on. Everybody's got a ship except Dengar. Does that mean that we're going to be getting Dengar's ship? That little...
It would be nice.
What is Dengar's ship? Oh my gosh. I can't believe... I remember Dengar's ship, but I don't know the name of it. Dengar's ship is... The Dangerous One? No. Dengar's ship is Punishing One. We called it the U-boat in the X-Wing miniatures game.
Yeah.
So the Punishing One, I think we're getting Punishing One if we need Dengar at Relic 5.
And then obviously you've got the ships. There's 7 ships that you need as well.
And ships required to, and they've updated this. Razor Crest at 5 stars, 7 star to complete. Razor Crest Slave 1, IG 2000, Houndstooth, TIE Advanced, TIE Bomber, TIE Imperial Fighter.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Basically, it's basically, it's the ships that you're going to end up using. It's the ships. It's practically the ships you're going to end up using with his with the Superstar Destroyer, basically. So here's the thing, right? You've got to do a bunch of characters and you've got to do a bunch of ships, right? So, I mean, logic would dictate that whatever you have to spend your resources on to make the ships ridiculously OP, you're going to put it with your most OP ship, and that's going to be a Superstar Destroyer. So I don't really have a bunch of massive issues with the requirements. It's just going to take me forever. I mean, I've got all of the ships at 7 stars. I just need to make the crew good.
He did say that the ultimate ability of the SSD will blow you away. I think it's basically a I win button. Like it's amplified.
That's what it's going to be. There's going to be a stupid cooldown on a special that just kills everything else. And you just need to hang on until that thing kicks in, and it's a
Rampant Rabbit. First time chatter while we're recording live. He says, "Sup guys, been listening to the podcast for a month. Enjoy the show. Don't look at my GAC stats." Rabbit, thank you so very much for the kind words. And thank you for being a listener, and welcome to a live recording.
Yeah. The
Lord
Admiral
Vader
Piet and the Boba Fett to relegate, that's going to be a problem for me. It's going to take me, because the only place I get relegate materials is Conquest at the moment. But yeah, I mean, it'll take me a while, but I will. I mean, that's it. Forget, like I said, as soon as I've got my gas, I'm going to start in on these guys.
Yeah,
because I want that ship. I want that ship.
So Vader requirements. Let's talk about Lord Vader. Vader requirements. Hunter, Tech, and Wrecker at Relic 5. I'm glad, if I'm gonna go for this GL, at least I'm on the right track. I've been going all in, Neil, for Bad Batch. Just because I wanted to. Because I wanted to have Bad Batch. This looks like it was a smart move. And I'm wondering if having them as requirements means that they're going to have a run-in with Lord Vader in the show.
Well, I mean, we'll have to wait and see on that. I mean, I did say that I was going to go for the Lord Vader requirements, but the thing is, it's going to be easier for me to achieve the requirements for the Superstar Destroyer first. So I'm free to play. So in order for me to maintain a competitive edge and continue to get my 300 to 400 crystals from Fleet Arena, I'm going to need that ship because I am in a fleet shard with a bunch of whales. I'm probably going to go for that ship before I go for Lord Vader. But I think they missed a trick. I mean, they said Tusken Raider at Relic 5. I think that is... I mean, I know that things are subject to change. I think that's wrong. I think, personally, they missed a trick there. They could have done a new Tusken, a leadership, like they did with the Geos, that makes the Geos good. Because before GBA and before they did the Hive Mind, Geos sucked. All right? I mean, don't get me wrong, the Geos aren't brilliant. They're not like meta-defining, but they are good. They are still good on both offense and on defense. I think they missed a trick. They should have come out with a new Tusken leader that we had to take to Relic 5, and it makes the rest of the Tusken, it makes the rest of the Tuskens, like GBA made the rest of the Geos, decent.
All right.
So I think
let's get into Conquest. The new data discs he talked about. We're not going to rehash what was said in the video. New boss modifiers. Kenobi! Whenever the allied leader is damaged, all other allies gain 10% offense until the end of the next turn. At the start of the allied leader's turn, they dispel all debuffs on all allies and all buffs on enemies. Jeez. Whenever an ally drops below 50% health, the allied leader gains 100% turn meter. The first time an allied leader is defeated, all enemies recover 50% health and protection and reduce their cooldowns by 3.
Sorry, where are you reading that from?
This is the road ahead itself.
All right, you're reading
Hunter,
the
Tech,
new boss
Wrecker,
modifiers.
Tusken Raider, and Padme. 5, 5, 5, 5, and 8. 8 for Padme. And then Mandalore, all allies start the encounter with 3 stacks of Beskar armor. This is a boss modifier.
Okay.
All right.
The modifiers are going to do different things at different percentages for different reasons and at different times. I'm not really that fussed. I just try to put together the best set of data discs that are going to make my team more OP than my opponent. I'm not really overly fussed about the boss modifiers being tweaked and changed because all I'm concerned with is how strong I can make my squads against them. To be honest with you, whenever I'm doing Conquest, I don't even think about what the boss modifiers are. I'm just trying to make my squad as good as possible to beat them and get as many feats as possible. So boss modifiers, yeah, sure, that's great. They can tweak them all they like. It's not something I put an awful lot of stock into. I'll just keep hitting a boss until I find a squad that beats it with the data set that's good enough for it. So I'm not overly fussed there. I'm not overly concerned there.
All right, so defense changes. The details of what's getting changed and added are available below, but this won't go into effect for another month in order to give you time to make an informed decision on whether to re-relic those characters up to Relic 8 or use those resources elsewhere. As we know, Darth Vader. I don't know the original ones. I wish they would have put like before and after on this.
Yeah, no. So basically, it's some of the stuff that you would just automatically get with them. They're removing it and making it a reward and putting it back at tier 8. So, like for example, Vader, immune to turn meter reduction and recovering 5% health and 2% protection whenever a damage over time on an enemy expires. That was always part of his kit. That is now no longer in his kit until you hit tier 8 relic. So they are nerfing the abilities of some. They're nerfing the abilities of the characters, but if you put all of the gear back on it, you get it back again. So, like for tier, you might have.
So they're
you might just
relics with abilities now.
Yeah. So you might. I mean, like for example, my Vader's relic 4 is not going to be as effective at relic 4. I'm going to have to take him to relic 8 in order for him to be as effective as he currently is.
Are we sure that's not tier for the ability? I just want to make sure.
Yeah, it's tier 8.
Let me. I'm going to pull up the game here.
You sure, boss? Oh, ability level 8. Oh, right.
Ability,
okay.
That's what I was thinking.
When I'm looking at tier 8, I'm thinking, oh, do they mean tier 8 of the relics?
No, not relic 8. Okay, cool. That's
all right.
what I was
okay.
Worried about tier 8 means a Zeta. Thank you, Nabokov.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so they are talking a little bit here. Reduce damage multiplier on all tiers by 40%. Increase debuff damage scaling to 100% against raid bosses on final tier. And plus 25% critical chance when used. So they're not debuffing him as much. They're just moving it around.
Well, no, I mean, because if you look at Culling Blade, reduce the damage multiplier on all tiers by 40%. Increase debuff damage scaling to 100% against raid bosses.
Right.
So, I mean, I forgot. I mean, by 40. Okay, so reducing the damage multiplier by 40% on all tiers simply means you're going to need to put a hell of a lot. You're just going to need to put more debuffs on. Am I? Is that? Would that be?
That's what I'm reading.
Would that be correct, Dylar? Regarding the damage multiplier for Culling Blade? You're simply going to have to apply more debuffs in order to keep the damage high.
So anyway, it's they've done that to Vader, Skywalker. They've removed ignored defense. JKL, Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker gets some
Yeah, Vader versus Rey is Vader versus Rey is
okay. So attacks ignore defense and from the Blast Tech weapon mod, so you don't get the ignore defense on there, but you do get the doesn't revive. That's a nice thing.
Yeah.
But
basically, I mean, the only way we're going to know how bad these nerfs are is, and there's no doubt in the back of my mind that the theory crafters will they'll run the off meta counters against the GLs after the changes to see how effective, to see how regressive the changes have been to those squads. But I mean, 40% is just under half. I mean, you're effectively going to need to put double the amount of debuffs on Rey in order for Vader to be able to do in the future what he does now.
Here's where everybody's getting up in arms, and I finally see it here. And no longer just to raid bosses, but to also excludes raid bosses and Galactic Legends. The following people are nerfed. Basilisk Shawn Fallen's Force Bond, her debuff crazy thing. Darth Malik's Gnawing Terror. Sith enemies can't gain bonus turn meter, excludes Galactic Legends. Skittering Horror, they lose 10% of their max health, excluding Galactic Legends. General Skywalker, gases no longer increases cooldowns.
Whoa.
Oh, okay, this is where everybody gets up in arms.
Oh my
you can no longer
God.
fracture a Galactic Legend.
For God's sakes. Okay, okay, so you know that soft blow that I was talking about earlier, it's getting softer. That soft blow is getting softer. Okay, right. Yeah. Oh
JKL Repulse.
So in order for me to, if you've got GL and you get put in a GAC group and nobody else has got a GL, you've won. You just got to put them on defense.
That's what I was saying. Remember? That's what I was saying at the beginning when everybody was saying, GLs are getting special treatment. Yeah. Okay. Moff Gideon no longer demoralizes, and C-3PO no longer inflicts baffling trick.
They need to. The only hope GAC now has the only hope GAC has now is if when they do these devs versus the community matches, they bring with it a challenge mode so that we can pick and choose our GACs and we can choose what is in it. Because if the GLs are just going to be unbeatable without another GL, then we need, at least if we've got a challenge mode for Grand Arena, we can set the rules of no setting GLs on defense. That's it. No setting GLs on defense. It's that simple. They've just rebooted Grand Arena Championships, and now they're going to make Grand Arena Championships unwinnable unless you've got GLs.
Yeah. I think it's Gom on Operation Metaverse says, true or false, our time is much better spent complaining about the changes rather than figuring out new counters.
God.
No, okay. I think we need to find out
Skeletrix, you have got your work cut out for you, buddy.
Yeah, you do.
Skeletrix is going to be like so busy after these changes. Every theory crafter is going to be extremely busy because if you're a theory crafter after these changes, you are going to be hounded and pestered. Have you got a counter yet? Have you got a counter yet? Have you got a counter yet?
Okay.
Have you got a counter yet?
get this. Raise tier 3 special 2. Deal twice massive damage to a target enemy. This is getting upgraded, so Ray's getting stronger. Then deal physical damage to all enemies. Enemies defeated can't be revived. This attack can't be countered, evaded, and deal 7% more damage with massive damage per relic amplifier level. So you take her to 8, and she's dealing 42% more damage than 2 times massive damage. Yeah. And they also have buffed Sith Eternal Emperor. By the way, Neil.
Yeah.
Both GLs that I don't have, Ray and C.
Yeah.
Added Sith allies gain 5% turn meter whenever an enemy gains a buff that can't be dispelled. Dark side allies now have plus 25% mastery, plus 30% potency, and plus 20 speed, doubled for Sith allies.
Yeah. Yeah, the theory crafting, here's the thing, not just the theory crafting content creators, but the theory crafting community, because a lot of content creators have got non-content creating theory crafters in their community, because they just do, and they might come up
absolutely true.
They, so there are sections that, Operation Metaverse has a very, very active community with theory crafters. Community. Yeah, with theory crafters in it that don't necessarily stream or produce content, but then relay those counters back to the Operation Metaverse community, because GOM and Team Money always show their appreciation to their community when new counters come up by showcasing them on Operation Metaverse on Thursday nights.
All right. Well, Neil, I do think that it's time. Let's take a breather from this. Let's play some story time with Uncle Thad, and when we come back, let's get MrBeauJangles in here and interview him and find out all the things that make MrBeauJangles tick, and possibly respond to some of the information we just read. What do you say?
Okay.
All right. We'll be right back after these messages right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast with Paul Anthony and Neil Andrew Ware.
Hello, Escape Padawans. It is the Llama here to remind you that the Escape Pod Castaways are on social media. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, you can catch us on YouTube and on Twitch every week streaming Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, LEGO Legacy Heroes Unboxed, your favorite new Galaxy of Heroes show GA Center, and so much more. Come catch us on the web.
Heinzie from the ANZGC is officially a member of the Escape Pod Castaways. Make sure you go and search for Heinzie on YouTube today, because he live streams a lot of his GAC content, and not only does he do that, he also does some pretty fun videos from time to time, including a behind the screen and also streaming Jedi Fallen Order. And from time to time, this idiot might drop by. Head on over and check out Heinzie today on YouTube, a part of the Escape Pod Castaways Network.
The Escape Pod Cast for Kids. It's really cool.
Hello there, Padawans, and welcome back to Storytime with Uncle Thad and the Escape Podcast for Kids. Our focus today was a direct request from you, the Padawans. So it is my pleasure to talk about Ezra Bridger of the Phoenix faction and where his kit fits in canon. Ezra Bridger is a Force-sensitive human male, born on the planet Lothal on Empire Day 19 BBY. Orphaned at a young age, Ezra grew up on the mean streets of Lothal's capital city, which is a terrible name for a capital city. But Lothal is a backwater planet, so I'm not shocked by that. But On Lothal, in Capital City, Ezra flew under the Empire's radar. Even though his parents were arrested for speaking out against the Empire, Ezra's actions never rose to the level of open rebellion. They were more akin to childish capers, maybe the occasional hijink, but nothing bigger than shenanigans. It wasn't until young Ezra attempted to steal some Melu Run fruit from the local Imperial garrison did his shenanigans really begin to become outright rebellion. It was this same shipment of fruit filched from local farmers that drew the attention of the infamous Phoenix Squad. After a series of character developing choices, young Ezra joined the crew and became the apprentice of Kanan Jarrus, one of the last surviving members of the Jedi Order. During his time with the Phoenix team, Ezra not only saw the destruction at the hands of the Empire, he saw the good that can be done by those willing to oppose it. He fought alongside freedom fighters like Leia Organa, Saw Gerrera, and Ahsoka Tano. He fought against enemies like Grand Admiral Thrawn, Maul, and even stood against Darth Vader. To really get an understanding of where in the canon Ezra Bridger comes from, we have to look at when he was released. Since the Phoenix Squadron has been so instrumental to early game players, some Padawans might think that they've always been part of the game. This is an easy misconception to have. The Ezra Bridger character came to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes on March 30th, 2017 as a marquee character. This came just days after the wrap of Season 3, where the Empire, led by none other than Grand Admiral Thrawn, won at the Battle of Atollon and forced the rebels to evacuate Chopper Base. This has been a turbulent time for the young Padawan. The end of Season 2 left Ezra wondering what happened to Ahsoka Tano, who sacrificed herself to save him. This loss weighed heavily on Ezra, as it also left his master without sight and seeking his own way. During this time, he wrestled with the dark side as he helped his friends fight everything from the Empire to decommissioned battle droids to the ghost of a series of Night Sisters to a remnant of the Mandalorians. It is at this point in the canon that we get Ezra Bridger, Attacker, Jedi, and Rebel. Ezra's basic ability highlights his willingness to pursue an attack, even at his own peril. Ezra is young and full of spirit. He wants to prove himself as a useful member of the crew, but also as a Jedi. His eagerness pushes him to attack as often as he can. Flourish, his next ability, is something that we actually see for a few times during Season 3. But there's one moment during Season 3 that really stands out. During a rescue mission, Ezra, Zeb, and Sabine are freeing none other than the Hondo Ohnaka and his Ugnaught companion from some random prison. During their getaway, Ezra runs ahead of the group and single-handedly takes on an entire squadron or garrison of stormtroopers. It's pretty freaking amazing. It's awesome. But before we move on, can we just take a second and think about how amazing Hondo Ohnaka really is? I mean, why is he not in the game? I forget. CG, do you have an answer? Anyway, now Watch and Learn is his last special ability. And again, it highlights Ezra's youthful exuberance, but it also shows his reliance on his fellow members of the Phoenix crew. This is the special ability that calls other members of the crew to attack, giving them special benefits based on their allies' role. Ezra is nothing if not a great team player. His final ability, his only unique ability, is a nod to his growth as a person, as a Jedi, and as a member of the Phoenix Squad. As he survives round by round, season by season, as he survives in this show and as he survives in the game, he grows stronger. And under a Harrison Dula leadership, so too do his teammates. This ability really embodies who Ezra is as a person and as a character. As he grows stronger, he strengthens those around him. Well, that's all for me this week. If you have a request that you'd like for me to talk about on the next story time with Uncle Thad, leave a comment in the chat box or join Paul and Nev in the after party and let us know. That's all for me this week. Tune in next week for more story time with Uncle Thad on the Escape Pod Cast for Kids.
HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
Use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with additional features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or Territory Wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod Cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Hey there, listeners. Merchandise specialist Critty K here. Do you enjoy the Escape Pod and want to support the channel and get something a little extra for yourself as well? Head on over to tpublic.com/user/theescapepodcast and grab a Team Neil, Team Paul, Critty Play, or many other fun Padawan designs on your choice of shirt, cup, sticker, mask, or even a magnet. And be sure to check out the Mrs. Anthony Shirts channel on the Escape Podcast Discord and get the latest info on the other designs I make as well. Sometimes there's even a sale going on, so it is smart to stop on by. Thank you for supporting the Escape Pod Cast.
Receiving incoming transmission. Receiving incoming transmission. Receiving incoming transmission.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. It's time for a little incoming transmission. Paul, introduce our guest for the day, please.
Well, I forgot to change it in the chat, and now I have something else to apologize about. I forgot to change the bot, so you'll have to do that one manually, Hellenix. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest this week, I apologized to him first thing last week because of some mistaken identity. So, you know, it's only right that I go and I invite a Dodger fan to come on the show and talk to us. But he's not just any Dodger fan. He's one of the most nicest Dodger fans that I've ever met. And that's not saying a lot, though, you know, still. He's part of the secret server. Furry and Rad and BeauJangles are some of the most community inclusive streamers that I know. And it's my honor to welcome that certain Mr. BeauJangles onto the show this week. Beau, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, Paul? Nev?
I'm
Good,
doing
mate. Good, mate.
Thank you for the intro. That was exciting.
I
hope I can live up to
I
it.
was better before I read The Road Ahead. Put it that way. I was better before I read The Road Ahead.
Just to let everybody in chat know, Nev, he's upset. He's fired up.
I'm very, very, very fired up. Yes, I'm worried. I'm worried. I'm worried about my beloved Grand Arena Championships. That's all I'm worried about. I couldn't give a rat's ass about territory wars or how bad it affects territory battles or raids or events. Couldn't care less. But I do care how it affects my beloved Grand Arena Championships. So yeah, there's some fear. I have fear for Grand Arena Championships.
Well, you know what they say about worrying. If you worry, then you suffer twice. You don't know it's going to be that bad. We don't know.
Yeah.
Like Dom said. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I think
Go
like
ahead and bring down the volume on our mics. I'm going to turn mine back up. We had to change that because of the it was really hard to hear the other the other stuff. The road ahead video. I'm glad we did it, you know. I'm really glad that we did air the video. But oh man, it's thank you for letting us know, Mary J. We appreciate that. Yeah, it's I guess let's start out with the questions and we'll return to the road ahead. For those who don't know you, Mr. BeauJangles, if that is your real name.
That is my name.
What is your account GP wise, and are you of any aquatic variety?
Aquatic variety?
Yes. Are you a dolphin, kraken, tadpole?
My account is about 4.8 million GP now.
How long have you been playing?
I've been playing for about 3 years, I want to say.
Okay.
Coming about 3 years.
So I'm betting that you have a little bit of aquatic tendencies.
Yeah. I don't shy away from spending on the game. I look at it as I get maybe 80 to 90% of my stuff free to play, farming, just like anybody else does. And then when I get to the finish line and I can see it, I'm usually, bring out the wallet if I need to, or if I want to. There's no rhyme or reason to it. I don't have any sort of strict, no, I don't spend, or, oh my gosh, I'm going to buy every single character as soon as it comes out. It's when I can see the goal. And or when you unlock a character, like I just unlocked General Anakin Skywalker Gas.
Congrats.
And thank you. And you hoard all the gear and you put it all the characters, and you remod your roster, and then you do the event, and then you have it. You have a Gear 8 General Skywalker, and then you see the Grand Arena sign up coming up in a few days, and it's like, all right, am I going to spend a little bit to use what I've earned, what I've earned with my hard work and farming? Then sometimes I do it. So it adds up, though. It adds up.
It doesn't when you're free to play.
That's true.
Nothing adds up.
Nothing adds up.
It's all
Nothing adds up.
Zero.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know. Because of that, I kind of think I fall on both. I can see both sides of the argument when you start talking about updates and whether they're free to play friendly, or if they're catered towards the whales or the krakens. And I can kind of see both sides. Just same with this road ahead post that I'm sure we'll get to in a minute. But I'm sure there's a part of the community that is tired of putting their Ray on defense against a guy that doesn't have a GL counter, and seeing it get beat just because they did a rework to Vader. I'm not saying that that's the camp I fall into, but I think that there's a lot of people that will look at these as maybe a positive.
Well, here's the thing. The most important aspect of this game is the fact that it is symbiotic. The whales and the free-to-play, this game does not work without both. Right? Sure. The free-to-play, and I'm, the bulk of the free-to-play are there to be crushed by the whales. Whales spend so that they can crush the free-to-play. But the free-to-play's hope, and let's not forget rebellions are built on hope. The hope for free-to-play is that if you play smart enough, and if you play intelligently enough, and if you are diligent with farming mods, farming the correct characters, getting the resources and putting them in the right places at the right time, that you have a chance of beating the whales. Remove that hope, take that chance away, and the free-to-play are like, why am I playing? Somebody in Division 9 with a very weak free-to-play roster that has to face one Ray or one Slacker every single round is all of a sudden going to stop playing. They're just not going to play. Because if that single GL against a 2 mil GP account that's in Div 8 or that's in Div 9 has no chance whatsoever of winning, it makes the competition completely and utterly irrelevant. All of the free-to-play disappear. And then you've just got Wales versus Wales. So it's like my wallet versus your pocket money, you know? And then the people spending pocket money, the minnows and the dolphins that just spend a little bit, realize what's the point in spending 20 to 30 to 40 to 50 bucks a month if I still can't beat the people that are spending 100, 200, 1,000 a month. So the free-to-play disappear first, then the minnows and the dolphins go, and then you end up with a dead game like Honor Bound, where the only way to do well is to spend.
I feel like you went really far into the possible dark timeline future of the game.
Yeah. He's absolutely right, though.
Yeah, no, you are, but we don't know if any of that is true. And I would argue actually that that what you explained, it already happens. It already happened. The people who are starting new accounts like a year ago that are at 100, that are at 1 million GP or 2 million GP, they're already looking at rosters that are whales ahead of them that they can't compete with. And there's no chance for somebody to start the game 6 months ago as a free-to-play player and keep up with somebody who started the game 6 months ago who's not a free-to-play player and knows what they're doing. If both players know what they're doing, there's no chance that pipe dream of the free-to-play player beating the whales is I don't think. I think that we already have whale versus whale. That already happens at the highest divisions.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why I'm kind of saying, Beau, that the issues start at the bottom. These issues aren't really at the top. They're not in Div 1, right? And they are not at the higher end of Div 2. There's going to be some issues in medium Div 2 and Div 3 and higher echelons of Div 4. If someone's got 2 GLs and they face 4 GLs, they're screwed. If someone's facing 3 GLs against 5, they're screwed, right? And people will maybe be able to take those heavier rosters and they might be able to do something with it. What I'm saying is the bottom end, the free-to-play that's at the bottom end, that we hope will stick with us for another year, 2 years, and slowly build it up. And it's like, I don't have a GL, but I know that if I get those 5 characters, I can counter Ray. I know if I get those 5 characters, I can counter a Slacker, right? They can work on those while they're building up the roster. If those aren't available, the free-to-play that is at the bottom end, the intermediate, the beginner to intermediate level, are just going to think, if there's nothing that I can get except for a GL, and let's not forget that the Ray and the Kylo were the worst grindy GLs of all, because they just were, you know. The free to play that they're not gonna spend, and they'll probably just give up the game. My concern is the lower end, not the higher end free to play, but the middle and lower end free to play. We need those guys to come in because there's a certain amount of attrition every single year. There's a certain amount of attrition. People going out of the game and new people coming in. If we have less,
we did just get Critty K joining. She just unlocked Squad Arena. She was so excited this morning.
Congratulations, Critty K. I don't know if it's a permanent thing. Like, yeah, that those people might cycle through a free-to-play player's bracket from time to time, and it might make that person's Grand Arena Championship specifically difficult that week. But that person is not going to stay. That person they face, say a Kylo at a very low division, like Division 6 or 7 or 8 or something down there, or even lower. That person is not going to be in that division even probably next lock. So like, because of the matchmaking in the top 80, I feel like that already happens, and it's just not a permanent problem. I don't know. I don't know. I see it both ways. I agree with what you're saying. I just don't think people are going to quit. I think that they're just going to look at how they build their rosters differently. And maybe we do see some matchmaking Grand Arena changes based off of whatever happens after they make these changes. I don't know.
Everything is subject to change, and I hope that they realize that this, I mean, they're the. Here's the thing: they're the people that are going to know the metrics, right? They're the people that are going to have, have the metrics. Now, The game wasn't dying. I was never one of those people that said that the game was dying, but the game was in a lull before the Hyperdrive bundle. The Hyperdrive bundle really did breathe some new life into the game, because for $100 you got awesomeness. You just got the greatest value for money purchase in the game, but not everybody wants to spend $100, right? So some people, do that, but that would have been a pickup in the game. People buy it and then they go free to play. The thing with the metrics is they'll be watching it. So if one free to play leaves, it needs to be replaced with either one or two, because then that they need more people coming in than going, basically.
Sure.
And so, changes like this, I think, could potentially stop as many people remaining free to play, and not cover the people that get to the end of their lifespan, that have been playing for maybe 3-4 years, and they think, it's not worth the hassle anymore.
Yeah, maybe. I think it just we always evolve to whatever they throw at us, like the teams you were talking about in the break, about teams that you've specifically gotten to certain relic level or power level to handle a raid boss or a specific GL counter. Those teams aren't weak teams. You need high relic tunes to make those counters work. You can't just bring in a Gear 12 General Anakin Skywalker.
Right.
So to get a Gear 12 Anakin Skywalker, you can't just bring in Gear 11, Gear 12 Saj and droids. So you've already gotten a GL's worth of requirements to make that counter. So I don't see it as the end of the free-to-play's journey, because it's possible to create the teams to counter the Galactic Legends, and it might be less possible now, but it's still just as possible to get Rey or get Sith Eternal without having to have spent money on the game. And so I don't see it as, okay, I'm going to throw in the towel because there's people spending money and passing me up. But that's always been the case.
Yes, and I agree that has always been the case. But the harder you make it for free to play, that's what causes a retention issue. So it's making it hard. It doesn't matter. And like they new strategies, new counters, and all of that is probably forthcoming, and it's probably going to be created. But every time you make it harder for free to play, that you lose the ability to retain more free to play to stay in the game. That's all I'm saying. More free to retention. The retention of free to play within the community is very important for a healthy game.
Right.
How many people get bored in Division 1 playing the same whales over and over? It's like the same people. They play the same people over and over and over and over again. They ain't going to want that. They ain't going to want that. They want.
We just saw Indigo versus Arnold for what, the fourth time?
The fourth time this year. Yeah, fourth time this year. So
I'm largely playing devil's advocate here, and just to have.
Oh yeah, no.
But I agree with a lot of the stuff, and I guess unlike Gom in the chat earlier, I'm fully capable of complaining about the changes and thinking of the new counters all at the same time. So I don't have to take time away from one or the other. But yeah, it's frustrating to look at. I also thought it was weird that this is the first Road Ahead where they've put a video out, but it was the most confusing. The most confusing Road Ahead, even with the video aid, I guess you can call it. But
the video aid made it fun.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I like the new format. I thought the new format was good. Yeah, I agree with you.
But yeah, some of those ability changes down below. What even you were talking about Tier 8 or Relic 8. I mean, I guess in tandem with the video, it makes a lot more sense. But
yeah.
Yeah, it's just that the Basti, the Malek, the Grievous, the Skywalker, the Thrawn, the JKL, the Moff Gideon, the C-3PO, those kind of reducing the ability of those characters. I said it to you when we were in the break. I don't have any issues with them buffing a character. So if they want to make the GLs even more OP, that's fine. Making a character even more OP makes that character more attractive. not just to whales, but to the free-to-play community as well. Taking away from a character is what annoys, it doesn't matter whether you're free-to-play or a whale. It just pisses off the entire community when you take away from a character. By all means, buff and, go nuts on a character, making them better. Taking away from a character just pisses everybody off.
I hope they've tested it,
Before we run out of time with you here, because we don't want to take you away from the family too much, what do you have coming up on your channel, Beau?
We call our community Camp Jangles. I also have the day job and the family, so that my biggest struggle since I'm a new streamer has been finding the time to consistently, put multiple weeks together of solid content. But lately we've been doing that. I have Grand Arena this weekend, and then I will also be playing. I think I'm playing some tabletop simulator. There's an X-Wing tabletop game. It's called Star Wars X-Wing 2.0. And
you're on the Discord server for that. They just released an update.
Did they? Yeah. Okay. So I follow, I think it's called Gold Squadron Podcast.
Yep.
And they have a bunch of like worlds and, international chat matches. And then they have like regionals and stuff like that. Anyway, me and a fellow streamer, Kelston, friend from the UK, that I met through Borky Bork and that whole group of people, are going to be playing tabletop simulator tomorrow for some X-Wing. We don't know who we're going to do.
I'm interested.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. And then I don't know if I'm going to stream it, but I've been playing a lot of that new MMO that just came out, New World, the beta. So I pre-ordered it, and they have a closed beta going on. And
you don't have one of those graphics cards that's going to just pop.
No, thank goodness. I think that was an issue with just those ones. Yeah, but
just the NVIDIA. Yeah,
I did download the whole, the GPU CPU temperature reader, so I could just have it on the screen just in case, because that would be terrible. That would be terrible.
But okay, so now that people know what's coming up, if any of that interests them, how do they find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/MrBeauJangles. My name is Beau. People call me Jangles. They actually call me a bunch of different things. So you can make up your own nickname. I give you full rights. And then we have our own Discord now as well at Camp Jangles. So you can. I don't actually have the link ready for you, but I can.
Toss it to me. I'll put it in the show notes so people can click it.
Perfect. And I'm excited about new games coming up. I don't have too many details as far as the schedule, but yeah, we've been having a lot of fun. I've been enjoying the streaming a lot. I really get into like the tech side of it, which we were talking about during the break, and it's been a lot of fun as like a hobby that when I get the time away from real life, it's been a lot of fun.
All right. Well, any parting questions, Neil?
No, we're good to go. Thanks for coming on, Jangles. Pleasure having you on, buddy.
Any parting words, Beau?
Thank you for having me on. Paul, Nev, I've always been a big supporter of what you guys do with the Escape podcast. Thank you for doing all the charity streams. Thank you for doing all you do for the community. I'm a member of the I subscribe to HotUtils. I kind of like to participate in everything you guys have going on. So to be on here is super cool. So thank you guys for putting aside the time. Thank you.
Well, it's super cool to have you on. So the feeling is mutual there. All right, guys. Go check out MrBeauJangles' channel. He is, as I said, a wonderful person. You definitely want to be part of Camp Jangles. Sign up to be a camper. Do you have s'mores?
We do have s'mores. Those
okay,
are
cool. I just want to make sure you had s'mores. Guys, coming up in this break, the latest episode of Helly and the Noob, and then a little bit of ranting and raving from Neil and I as well on the whole road ahead, and Patreon's choice as always. We'll be right back after these messages right here on the Escape Pod Cast.
The Escape Pod Cast with Paul Anthony and Neil Andrew Ware.
HotBot in HotUtils is one of the most comprehensive tools for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
With integration into the super useful mod tool Grand Ivory, HotUtils can help you tackle some of the most difficult aspects of the game.
Not sure how to mod your roster for a certain game mode?
use one of the many filters that automatically assigns the right mods to the right character in accordance with your guild needs.
Now with additional features that can assist you and your guild officers in territory battles and territory wars, HotUtils is an amazing value.
And don't forget the useful tools for yourself in Grand Arena, like the in-depth and customizable compare feature.
Got multiple accounts like Neil, but not the time to remod them all?
With this one-stop utility, you can switch between your alts and never miss a mod upgrade or a mod switch before locking into GAC or Territory Wars.
Starting at just $5 a month, you don't want to miss out on these great tools.
HotUtils is the new official remodding service for the Escape Pod cast.
Visit HotUtils.com to learn more. That's HotUtils.com. And go ahead and spice up your Galaxy of Heroes experience.
Podawans, be sure to support the shows brought to you on the Escape Podcast Twitch and YouTube channel by becoming a Patreon. For as little as $2 a month, you can support us and get a little extra for yourself. With tiered rewards including access to Shitty Bill's Arena Tracking Bot, after-show access, inclusion in the GA Center leaderboards, behind-the-scenes access, and much more. There is something for everyone on our Discord server. Head on over to Patreon, that is patreon.com/The Escape Pod, and sign up today. Thank you for supporting and listening to the Escape Podcast.
And now time for something completely shameless.
We pick up exactly where we left off at the end of the last episode of Helly and the Noob. Our dysfunctional droid with a penchant for calamity is ready to press the button on the ultimate nullifier. This is the Marvel Comics 616 universe's most powerful weapon. According to N00B, pressing the button will erase everything in existence throughout the entire universe. Unfortunately, the droid doesn't realize he is part of the universe. Let's face it, folks, he's not the smartest droid in the galaxy. And now, without further ado, this episode of Helly and the Noob begins.
Okay, fine. You asked for it. I'm pushing the button. Everyone, listen up. He asked for this. This is clearly his fault. Don't blame me. I apologize for any inconvenience, but please be advised, the universe will now be erased.
Wait,
in
no!
3,
Oh, no!
2,
Don't do it!
1.
No!
I don't get it, Helly. What just happened?
Good question, bartender. You see, the ultimate nullifier doesn't erase the entirety of existence with just the click of a button. It's not the Infinity Gauntlet. Instead, it allows the wielder to nullify anything they focus on. However, it only nullifies things that the wielder truly understands. And since our buddy, Mr. Noobmeister over here, doesn't currently understand anything, other than his recently reworked programming, all he could nullify was said recently reworked programming.
So that's it? You won? Season 3 is over? That's kind of anticlimactic, don't you think?
Nah, Season 3 isn't quite done yet. We still have half a season to go. Anyway, now, time to take the backup files given to me by our The Llama. Our Llama is the best. The Llama. And restore this old rusty bucket of bolts back to the newbie we all know and love. And...
Where am I?
Meatbag.
Good to have you back, buddy. And if you don't mind, I'll be taking that for safekeeping.
Whoa! That's the ultimate nullifier. That is the Marvel Comics 616 universe's most
powerful
weapon. Lennox?
Yes, noob.
What's that button do?
It's good to see your systems have successfully rebooted, bud.
I like
pushing
buttons.
I know you do, bud. All right, my work here is done. On to my next task.
Wait, seriously, I have no idea where I am and what happened to me. Last I remember, I was in the cargo hold of the Fulcrum. I recorded a message for
a friend.
And I can't remember exactly what happened next.
All right, you're in a cantina on Rune. You thought you could kill me. You failed, and I won. Look, just watch the replays of the last couple episodes, newbie. We're out of time for this month, and I gotta go.
Wait, where are you?
Going.
Helenix?
To track down TC-14 and end this once and for all.
Wait, I thought we were supposed to be
The good guys.
Helenix. We don't go around exacting our revenge. It's not what good people do.
Noob?
Yes, Helenix?
Who lied to you and told you I was one of the good guys?
Oh, stop that, Helenix. You have
Always been
one of the good guys.
Newbie, I'm a scoundrel, a pirate, a smuggler, a dark side adherent, and a fugitive from the law. What part of that sounds like a good guy to you?
Yes, but you are also
my friend.
Helenix, and I don't care what they say about you. I don't see you that way.
Ah, noob, that's sweet. I mean, it's naive, ill-informed, and basically an incorrect position to take. But it's a very nice thing for you to say. Now, if you don't mind, I have a droid to disassemble.
Wait, what am I supposed to do? You
can't just
leave me here, Helenix?
Number 1, you have the Space Frogger parked right outside. You're not stuck here. Number 2, you're a free droid. You can do anything your little servos desire.
Does that include accompanying you?
Sure, but it might get a little rough out there over the next 6 months or so, bud. You sure you want in? Don't get me wrong, you're more than welcome to join me for one last zany adventure. But I can't promise you anything, really. Shoot, I can almost guarantee that it's gonna get pretty bad. It'll probably end up being the end of Helly and the Noob.
Why do you
say that,
Helenix?
Because I expect I'll be pissing everyone off over the course of the next few months.
But why would you
want to
do that?
Because, newbie, the salty Spartan is now extra salty. You coming or what, droid?
Oh boy, this looks like this may get really interesting. I guess. Stay tuned, folks. Hey!
Meatbag!
Wait for me!
Meanwhile, halfway across the galaxy, on the planet Coruscant, in the Imperial District of Capital City, we find the illustrious, glorious, and chrome-plated TC-14. Having planted recording devices throughout the galaxy, TC-14 is aware of the situation en route. Let's see what she has to say about it.
That damaged PK series droid has failed. Just as I predicted. I should never have entrusted N00B with such a vital mission as to eliminate the Laconian threat. Thankfully, that was not his purpose. The dysfunctional droid with a penchant for calamity was merely intended to lure the vile salty Spartan out of hiding. Relying on those notoriously faulty, multi-generationally deficient, and entirely incompetent automatons for vitally important missions has never been a guaranteed path to success. N00B was simply a useful idiot. Which is why I have other, more reliable assets to deploy. N00B was but one of a multitude of pawns on the space chessboard. Now it is time to move other, more dexterous space chess pieces into play. Speaking of which, where are those twins? Litha, Petro. Present yourselves, at once. These two are as dumb as a box of rocks. But they will have to do for now.
She wants us. Yeah, she does.
Finally. It took you long enough. Now, both of you, come forward.
She said
Enough. That is not funny. Do not force me to cancel. Both of you.
Sorry, mistress. Yeah, sorry.
Now, if I may proceed, I am going to augment both of you. This augmentation will make you nearly indestructible. And, knowing my adversary, you will need this extra level of protection if you are to be successful in your newest mission. I am warning you. I have limited patience for your combined antics.
Sorry, mistress. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Silence. Now, each of you, step into either one of the transformation pods. It is time to begin the resequencing. Behold, you have both been made superior by my greatness. Arise, my Neolithic minions, and go forth. Defend your goddess. Destroy the salty Spartan. Eliminate the vile Greek. Kill Hellenics.
And that does it for this episode of Hellion the Noob. Make sure to stay tuned to the Escape Pod cast to see how the rest of this plot unfolds. The question on everybody's mind must be, of course, will this announcer make another appearance in the next episode? Or will he walk out in a fit of anger and rage for not being paid? Cartoon Hellenics promised him 1 shiny nickel for every word he says, yet no shiny nickels have been delivered. Will TC-14 finally rid the galaxy of the vile salty Spartan? Will I care enough to appear in another 5 weeks? This, and the answer to many more questions, only on the next episode of Hellion the Noob.
The Escape Pod cast The Bridge.
Welcome back. Paul?
Yeah.
It's been an interesting, that was interesting. Yeah, it's been an interesting road ahead. Definitely not as good as the last road ahead.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth when it comes to that, man. It has absolutely been an interesting road ahead. I'm excited for a lot of the future of the game, but what they're changing of what people have done in the past is a little worrisome. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to kick and scream and call names, though. But we do have Bodhi, who's a very good friend of ours from Howling Ewoks. He says, I can't go into much more. This is Doja on SWGOH events server, Neil. I can't go into much more detail at this time about all the stuff that was announced, but I'll answer what I can. I've been gathering feedback all day and will continue to do so. I'll present that to the devs, and I'll still be here to serve as the conduit as best I can. He's not stepping away. Doja's not going to go crawl into a turtle shell.
Yeah.
He says the road ahead was a lot to take in, but hopefully we can all agree that reducing kit bloat and allowing design more space to create interesting kits will make the game better going forward. I can agree with that, but it's worrisome the steps that they're taking. And back to what Doja said. Again, I've been reading forums and Reddit reactions all day, and I respect however you feel about it, but I am optimistic about the future of the game. I'm actually being sincere when I ask this of you, Neil. Has Doja lied to us yet? I cannot recall.
That's not that. Okay, hang on a minute. I need to unpack. That's a loaded question. Has Doja lied to us? All right. That if it depends on what he's being asked. Now, has somebody said to him directly, Doja, are you going to nerf all these characters? And if it's really bad for the game, are you going to reverse it? And he's come out, and gives a yes or no. There are no direct questions for him to lie or be truthful have yet been asked. Okay, he's saying he's reading. Here's the thing, right? So I introduce something and it's really, really bad, and I go to the forums and I just read the positive. And then my response is, I'm looking at the feedback and I'm reading it. What he's not saying is, I'm looking at and I'm reading the positive feedback. So it's too loaded a question. Has Doja ever lied to us? There's not. He's not been asked anything he needs to lie for. It's the wrong question. It's the wrong question. I reject the premise of the question because nobody has been asking. Nobody has
substitute your own.
No. I reject the premise because nobody has ever been and had him on and asked him direct questions that has afforded him the opportunity to lie. In interviews, the questions and what's going to be discussed is pre-screened. You know. So I reject the. Do I think that Doja is a genuine, honest person? Yes, that would be a more apt way of putting it. Has Doja ever lied to us? Yeah, we don't know because the really, really tough, poignant questions haven't been asked of him.
Okay, so to me, the way that Doja has responded to questions in the past, and his inference that at least that I've read, I have not seen anything that he's misled us on. I don't see, and honestly, I don't see anything that. Okay, so I can agree maybe lied to us isn't the right question, but he hasn't misled us in my eyes to this day. And if he is saying that he feels optimistic about the game, I don't think he's towing the company line. He just would not have said that he feels optimistic. That's my opinion of how he said what he said.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I think Doja's a genuine, nice guy. I do. I genuinely think he's a nice. I think he's a nice bloke. He's a top guy, and he's honest and he's genuine. But he's still only going to give us the information that is given to him. You know, I mean, for all intents purposes, you know, he's the communications director. What he's going to pass on to us is going to be filtered from somebody else. He can only respond the way that CG and EEA and Lucasfilm allow him to respond. And that's fine. That's all right. That's his job. That's what he's supposed to do. He's the mouthpiece. He's the spokesperson. He is the conduit. You know, he's the communications director for and community manager, and that's what he's supposed to do. If we could have an open forum with him where 10 things get listed, very specific things get listed, and we ask him those questions, I would expect him to have to say, I'll get back to you on this, and this. And then actually get back to us and say, right, this point one, this is what's happening and this is why it's happening. You know? 2, 3, 4. But that's not the way things have happened, though. It'd be great if that's the way things happened with CG, but it has never been like that. Remember the QAs? Remember how bad the QAs were? The amount of questions that would get put to them, and then they would never be answered, or sometimes they would be responded to. So a question would be posed, it would be a good one, and they wouldn't give us an answer, they would give us a response.
They still do the Q&As, if you will, but they get more pointed. And it's on the SWGOH events server. SIG's server is where they go. So, I think we have a link to that in the show notes. If we don't, I'll try to remember to make sure I put it in there. But SIG server is a wonderful resource, and it's where they go to do impromptu Q&As, if you will. So anyway, the only thing I ask is please do think about Grand Arena, especially if I finally get my Kyber this time around. I don't want it to be because people are losing interest in Grand Arena. I want to have earned it. Now, of course, this is the first 5v5 with expanded rosters, though, right?
Yeah.
So Maybe it's just that finally my fluffy bottom has paid off.
Got there in the end.
All right. Let's quickly get into Patreon's choice questions. If you are a Twitch watcher, by the way, Rule of Deuce, thank you for following us. And MrBeauJangles, thank you for the 500 bits. And Operation Metaverse, thank you for giving out a community sub. So let's get into Patreon's choice. We'll go from there. Is there anything before we go into Patreon's choice that you want to address, Neil?
No, crack on.
All right. Sephiranus asks, have you taken a look at the new free MOBA Pokemon Unite? I have not had a chance to put my hands on it, and I don't think that's up Neil's alley anyway.
No.
But I am interested. I've taken a look at the information. I haven't looked up to see if Snorlax is a Pokemon that I can get, because that's the only one I care about. All right. Zaz posts, what Star Trek characters would be a perfect role for these following fellow content creators? Male roles can be played by females and vice versa. The llama. Thank you, Geek Girl, for the 245 bits. Who do you think he would play? The llama. I'm thinking Odo, security officer Odo.
As a cop. Yeah, no, that'd work. Yeah, go with that one. Yeah.
The llama is definitely Odo. All right, warrior. I got warrior for a Commander Riker.
No, I've got warrior for the. I've got warrior. Was it? Who was the weapons officer in Enterprise?
Weapons officer in Enterprise, was that Paris?
No, the British guy.
The British guy.
Oh no, Hellenix is right. Worf, definitely.
Warrior's Worf.
Yeah.
All right. Arnold T101. I've got O'Brien, Miles O'Brien for Arnold. He's got the curly hair.
Oh no. That he would have to be. Who was the was it Quark from Deep Space Nine, the gambling guy?
Yeah.
That would be Arnold, because he's like, gaming division. He'd be wanting all of his fingers in all the various different gaming and gambling pies.
All right. So I'm gonna ask this one. It says Paul and Nev. So I'm gonna ask you who I would be, and I have to answer who you would be.
Okay. You would be. Just thinking Star Trek. You would be.
With your special ops and all that, I'm gonna have to peg you as Dr. Bashir.
Okay, that's all right, because he is English. I mean, I could go with we could go with your current dress code and say that you're every single red shirt from the original Star Trek. You've got a red shirt on. I'm racking my brain for a character, and I'm staring at a red shirt. Okay. I'm thinking. Just let me think. Just chill. Let me think.
I can't believe you.
Okay.
I'm letting you think.
Oh no! I know who you can be. I know.
I'm also filling dead air. So who am I?
You're Uhura.
Uhura.
Yeah, because she's the audio specialist. She's always got that thing. She's always got that great big thing in her ear, and she's always playing with knobs and dials, trying to hear stuff. It's like, I can hear something faint, Captain. So you're Uhura.
All right. Who would BCM be? BCM is my choice for Worf. But I could also see BCM as Garrick.
Yeah, that one would work. Yeah, that would work for BCM. Yeah.
All right. And finally, Hellenix. Hellenix, I'm definitely putting down as those big brain guys from the original series.
No, I would put him down as Paris from Voyager, because like Paris just doesn't take shit from anyone. You know, that's why he's still just a pilot of a starship when he first starts on Voyager, because, you know, he's like out drinking, he's in bars, he doesn't take crap from anybody. So yeah, Hellenix is Paris from Voyager.
All right. Operation Metaverse, thank you for the 500 bits. Says, don't get to catch you guys often, but great show as always. Thanks for allowing me to troll your chat tonight. Gom, always a pleasure to have you. We should have you on again soon. I've got somebody else in the works for next week, but we definitely have to make that happen again. All right. And that ends the questions from Zaz. Force Strong says, it's going to be interesting to see what the after show decides my fate of Mandalorians. So we'll be talking about that in the after show. Geek Girl says, if you could take a faction, take your pick in Star Wars that you had to take out of that universe and put it into normal everyday jobs, what would they be? I say Klingons as peace officers.
Geos as the UN.
No. Out of Star Wars. I read that as Star Trek. See, I still had Star Trek in my mind. The Geos as the UN?
Yeah. Because they would just smack everybody. Just drop them in the middle of a conflict. And if somebody had a pop at them, they just all like hive mind straight away.
I would have to say the Weequay Pirates as you know, people who work in the what's the word, cruise industry.
I've changed my mind. I've changed my mind. It would be the Jawas, and they would be Jiffy Lube.
I would love to see that.
It would be Jawas at Jiffy Lube, changing people's oil.
If you had to take characters from another universe and put them into the Star Wars universe, what factions would they fall into? The Borg would combine with the Geonosians.
Starfleet into the Galactic Republic. That's an easy one.
And finally, if you had to listen to a lecture on something super boring, who would be the fictional character that you would choose to give it to make it more interesting? Thrawn. My answer is Thrawn for anything to make it less boring.
Spock would make anything sound less boring.
Beau Monday does pose a good point, though. If you go to the Jawas to get your oil change, you'd drive away missing your transmission.
Yeah, that's why it would be so funny. In fact, I am totally on board. If anybody wants to join me in a business venture, you know, like they've got 5 guys for the burgers, like 5 people dressed up as Jawas to change people's oil. I think, you know, that would a Star Wars themed Jiffy Lube. I think that would make an absolute killing, because people would go to get their cars oil changed just to see it getting, you know, yeah, it'd be funny that cosplayed. Get your oil changed cosplayed by Jawas. That'd be awesome.
All right, Neil, what do you got coming up on the channel, my friend?
GAC. I got a final this weekend. Hopefully, I can get my green screen studio back up. I'll get all of that squared away. Jedi Academy tomorrow, and then Grand Arena GA Center on Monday.
All right. If things start looking like I'm going to get Kyber, I may pick up and stream on the channel. Otherwise, more Lego on Vault 37 Studios. If you guys aren't following Vault 37 Studios on Twitch, would love to have you give that a follow. That's the place where I play all the games with Mrs. Anthony and sometimes do production for the show. Think of it as Finn's personal channel in relation to RSG. It's just where we goof off. So, other than that, this has been a fun week. Even with some of the scary, if you will, news, I think I think this show was really, really good, Neil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Lord Megatron, thank you for the follow, as well as we're about to sign off here. We are going to send. There's only one other player playing Galaxy of Heroes right now, and that's B Pimpinelli. So we're gonna send you guys over there if you're watching live.
Yeah, I was briefly chatting with him the other day. His main account is in Div 6.
Oh, nice. There we go. We maybe if they continue to stream, maybe we'll take a look at them. There's going to be some changes coming next season. All right. Well, guys, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for tuning in. Be nice to each other, damn it. And Neil?
Yes.
Push the button.
You're going to make it tough now, folks.
What's going on? Where the hell are we? Paris?
Thank you for pressing the self-destruct button.
Attention! This is Colonel Sanders in forward command. Abandon ship! Abandon ship! All personnel proceed to escape pods. Close down the circuits. Evacuate the city. Self-destruct mechanism has been activated. Abandon ship! Where is it? Where is it? It's gonna be here. Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works.
This ship will self-destruct in exactly 10 seconds. Counting down. 10, 9, 8, 6.
6! What happened to 7?
Just kidding. 3, 2, 1. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy. The Escape Podcast was filmed in front of a live studio audience full of tweaked out murder bears.
Sit, Boo Boo, sit. Good dog.